Welcome back to the Figures Flippy S Wrestling Podcast, where we do our weekly wrestling recap, where we look back over the last week and look at the major stories and things going on for WWE, NXT, and AEW. Yes. Of course, every show was coming off of a pay-per-view-like event, premium live events for WWE, actual pay-per-view
what
for
is
AEW. Premium live event or something. I don't have the room to do it.
Simon Miller.
Yeah. So yeah, we had Night of Champions, which from all accounts, what we heard was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't watch it because it was in Saudi. So what did WWE do? They stepped on the gas with the Bloodline story. Thanks, WWE. NXT had Battleground, which also was a pretty good show. Mm-hmm. And then AEW had Double or Nothing, which was a good show, but not as strong as AEW's usually are.
It was the weakest link.
Although the last two matches were fantastic. And yeah. I mean, there were other good matches on the show, don't get me wrong, but the last two, are really good.
Yeah.
I'm especially happy that the Pillars 4-Way was so good because there were so many people poo-pooing that match, so I'm glad that they went out there and they showed out. Good for those guys. You and I both were excited for that match anyway because we knew what it could be.
I like all the guys.
Everybody's complaint was, they're not main event level. Well, I think we can squash that narrative.
I think they're main event level.
I mean, they're going to have to be at some point.
Yeah.
That's the future of
But the thing is, though, if they do people that are typically the main event people in AEW, they would get pissy because it's the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho. They don't want that. People don't want the Bucks main eventing. They don't want Jericho. They don't want...
After the announcement on AEW, it's kind of split on CM Punk. I know what camp you fall in there.
I don't want to talk about that piece of shit.
Okay. Okay. But we'll start with WWE. We're starting to already get off on tangents here. And we'll start with the Bloodline. So the way that WWE stepped on the gas was Jimmy's finally turned on Roman.
Yes.
Told Roman essentially to go fuck himself. Kicked him twice on purpose during Night of Champions.
That's not champions, not...
Yeah. Sammy and KO retained. Fast forward to SmackDown, and it was Roman's 1,000-day celebration as champion.
He's got that new unified title.
Yeah.
Which is that replacing his other 2 titles, or he's going to get 3 titles now? Because...
I don't know.
If he gets to keep all the titles...
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be kind of funny. I saw somebody comment this yesterday, and I kind of agree. It'd be kind of funny if for Roman's ego, he just kept... having belts. At one point, Heyman's carrying out 6 belts, but he's only got 2 titles.
See, that just seems excessive to me and annoigning. I'm very much over...
He told the universe
I know.
To acknowledge
I'm
him.
just very much over Roman Reigns' legendary reign.
Well, at one point, they were talking about how legendary it was, and I like this little subtle touch. Michael Cole on commentary was like, kind of funny, all these clips of Roman we get, and none of them feature the Usos, which were integral in keeping him champ for so long.
Yeah, which, speaking of SmackDown, we can get back to the thing, though, in SmackDown.
I mean, this is related.
Oh, I thought we were getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So we get to Roman's 1,000-day celebration, and I looked at how much of the show we had left, and when Roman was coming out, there was about 25 minutes left of the show, and I was like, oh, shit's going to go down. I was ready for it. So Roman comes out, Triple H presents him with his new title, and I kept telling you, whenever, they were doing this, I kept joking with you. I was like, ooh, so. I was like, oh, man, if that happened, shit would hit the fan. Well, Roman picks up the mic to have the universe acknowledge him, and then the Usos music hits.
Yeah.
So the Usos come out, and it's such a thing. They go to commercial break.
The way the Usos are, slinking out, too. They're just, looking around, what's this going on here?
Yeah.
You didn't realize that there's a 1,000-day celebration, Usos? It's been everywhere. All over WWE stuff.
Well, they did that on
Even
purpose.
if you weren't invited, you should have known about it because it was literally everywhere.
Yeah. The video package they put together for it was pretty cool, though. I have to tip my cap to them for that. So the Usos come out, and this is where shit starts getting going. So Jay comes out, and he's talking to Roman. He's telling Roman, essentially, you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
We're family. We should do this, but you should do it with love and respect because we're family. Mm-hmm. And he even talked to Solo, and he told Solo, Roman's going to use you and abuse you, and it's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah.
And for a while, it looks like it works because Solo goes over to the side
I didn't trust him any time because I kept saying I was like, his thumb keeps flexing.
I know. At one point, literally, you were like, his thumb's out. And I was like, I know. I think it's because the way he tapes it up, it has no choice but to be
It was flexing.
But, so Solo goes over there because Roman gives him the mic and he's like, stop speaking for your brother, let him speak. And he gives Solo the mic and Solo doesn't say much.
He just says, I acknowledge you, Roman.
Well, I mean, in general, Solo doesn't say much.
Okay.
So when he has a mic, I listen. I want to know what he has to say. So he pretty much told Roman, I acknowledge you as tribal chief, but they're my brothers. He goes over and he sides with the Usos. So Roman's starting to look very distraught for Roman. Distraught's kind of a bad word there to use. He's looking more like, basically he looks like the kid at the birthday party that other people start eating his cake before he could. Like it's his special day and it looks like everything's crumbling down around him. And Jay tells him, he's like, let's run this like we know we can. Let's do this with love and respect. Let's do this. And Roman's acting here was great. Roman brings in Jimmy for a hug, and it looks like he's like crying, like he's seeing the error of his ways. And Roman just picks up the mic behind Jay's back, and he just goes, no, and backs up. And he looks at Solo, and Solo hits a Samoan spike on Jimmy.
Yeah.
And so we have, the bloodline is literally split in half. We've got Usos on one side, Roman and Solo on the other. And I love the clothing choice too. The Usos were there wearing white, and Roman and Solo were wearing black. So it was kind of the division already.
I didn't even pay
was
attention
foreshadowed. Also interesting how this went down because this is exactly kind of like it was starting to go in the direction before Solo turned back. It was starting to go in the direction that Cody Rhodes said it would. He said first Jay will turn, then Jimmy, then when they're gone, Solo, and then you'll be a tribal chief all with no
You
tribe.
just had to bring Cody Rhodes in somehow.
Well, I mean, it's
WWE does it
well,
great.
Jimmy mirrored it because Jimmy told him you'll be on the island of relevancy all by yourself if you keep this up. And during these bloodline segments, one of the most fun things to do is just watch Paul Heyman react to everything. Because like whenever Roman, Roman said no in the background, Heyman was just back there going, "Why? But so now we have a split bloodline, and they even did a little thing where they didn't do it into the mic, they did it into the camera up on the entrance ramp, where Jay, after Jimmy got spiked, Jay stayed in the ring with Jimmy, and Solo left with Roman. Well, Roman and Solo and Heyman are heading to the back, and this is how the show ends. And Heyman says, "My tribal chief, what about Jay?" And Roman looks back, and he just says, "Jay will fall in line like he always does. He'll come home." And it's just like, man, this story, like everybody thought it was dead after Elimination Chamber, but here it is, still giving.
I'm very conflicted about this story. Like, it's a good story, but it's just lasting way too long to keep my attention anymore. Like, I want it to end, but at the same time, I want it to continue, because if Roman can stay the champ longer than Hulk Hogan, that piece of shit can move down the line. And like, right? So like, I'm very conflicted.
I can tell. You're all about pieces of shit not getting what they want.
I'm a big I'm a big like fan of consequences, and I just feel like there's no consequences for anybody except for me anymore in this world. So like, it pisses me off. Yeah. But that's why I get mad.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with the bloodline. It's definitely setting up. I think we're going to get Usos Usos versus Roman and Sikoa at Money in the Bank, and maybe Roman and Jay at SummerSlam. Maybe. Because it doesn't look like, because from what I've heard, the end game is still Cody.
Of course.
Taking the titles off Roman.
Yeah.
But I don't see a way that Cody's going to be able to come back into this story anytime soon.
I kind of wish that they would just give the belt to Cody. Just got it over with. Because either way, Cody's going to be, open up your mouth, Susan. Let's shove it down there for you, for Cody. So, what? He takes over SmackDown. It's not like this isn't something I said while we're watching it.
He wasn't featured on SmackDown this week. He wasn't featured. The only time he was featured was in Roman's little video where he beat him.
I don't know why you're acting so shocked. I've literally said this to you when we're not filming this.
Yeah, I know. You're just coming in guns blazing today.
Not.
No one has consequences. Cody's being shoved down my throat, out through my ass. Like
I never said my ass.
No, but
I said open my mouth.
What you said was terrible. Could be taken such a wrong way. Oh man. So yeah, that's what's going on with the bloodline. So that's the entire first segment of this video. It took the whole 10 minutes.
Yeah. I don't even know if I got a word in or not. I started, and
you
would
did.
shut me down, and you would keep going.
You mentioned Cody being shoved in your mouth.
I only was able to get my complaints out.
Yeah.
You kind of dominated that one.
Well, let's go ahead and shift gears. So the Bloodline has set us up to keep things going through at least probably the rest of the summer. Mm-hmm. So we can go ahead and move on to the other World Championship. So the other title held by Seth Rollins on Raw.
Which I'm so glad he won that title.
Yeah,
he definitely deserved it, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think it helps the title too because he's not somebody that lost to Roman and then got the title. He had one fight with Roman and he won by DQ.
Right, and it's like they never made that feud go round again because Seth should technically beat Roman if he fought him. So because he's a hell of a lot more talented than Roman is. Roman is talented. I don't want to say he's not talented. It's just in the ring skills, I feel like Seth Rollins is a lot more talented. I think they're both full of charisma on the mic. I just feel like Rollins has more talent in the ring. But, I mean, you can think differently. I just love Seth Rollins.
I would give the edge.
And I'm a little bored with Roman.
I'll give the in-ring edge to Rollins, but I don't think it's as big of a gap as you realize it is.
Well, I think also, I'm just tired.
Oh, wait a minute. I think it's... Yeah, I don't think the gap is as big as you think it is.
I'm just tired of Roman Reigns, honestly. So, like, I'm going to think that, like...
He's not on TV that much.
I know, that's my beef with him. Is that he has this legendary reign, but he never fucking, like, defends it.
He's a heel.
It's like a Jade Cargill situation all over again. That annoys me. Like, you can't you have this legendary title reign if you barely freaking even defend it.
He's a heel.
I don't give a shit. I'm giving my thoughts on it. Like, this is what I think.
That's why that's going down that way. Look at the difference, like with Orange Cassidy.
No, I think it's going down that way because he just wanted a part-time schedule, honestly, and they didn't want to give the title from him.
It's you's going to have to answer the tribal chief, not me. I acknowledge I'm not getting my ass
kicked.
kicked.
I mean, I can get away from him. He takes forever to get where he's going. He only shows up 1 out of 20 times, so I think I'll be okay.
Probably.
I think I'll be good.
Well, anyway.
But if Solo comes after me, I'm screwed.
Yeah, we're all screwed. It's Roman's screwed when Solo finally turns on him. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yes.
Anyway, Rollins, him and Styles came out and congratulated him. And it's funny because I was like, why is AJ Styles on Raw? He's drafted to SmackDown. As soon as I say that, AJ Styles is like, I know I'm not supposed to be here. And I was like, okay, well, at least we're acknowledging that. Mm-hmm. But he ended up teaming up with Rollins to help out against the Judgment Day. It definitely seems like Finn or Priest is going to be the first... Well, it's Priest. Because Monday on Raw, Rollins is defending the title against Priest.
Yeah.
And that'll be pretty good. I really like Damian Priest. I think the Judgment Day's done wonders for him.
He really, his match with Bad Bunny really showed how good he is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I fully knew how... Because I never watched him whenever he was Punishment Martinez or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, I only really know him from NXT. Mm-hmm. And he never stood out a lot to me when we watched him in NXT. Mm-hmm. But he had a good match with Bad Bunny, so...
Yeah.
I appreciate him a little bit more now.
Yeah. And I saw a report, too, that said that Backstage kind of sees Priest as a main event player moving forward, which is... It's great for him.
Which is good, and, But, I kind of feel like if I had to choose a main event player, people that weren't main eventers, I would have picked, Ali. I know he's out on NXT right now, but I would have picked, an Ali, or, not a Damian Priest, but that's just me, though.
Okay. Anyway, Rollins and Styles did beat Priest and Balor. It was a pretty good match. But it definitely seems like Judgment Day is going to be Rollins' first hurdle, which makes sense because they tell the story, Rollins says the show's Monday Night Raw, and Judgment Day talks about how they run Monday Night Raw. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure we'll probably get Finn at SummerSlam again, which will be interesting because that'll be the 7-year anniversary of their fight over the first Universal title at SummerSlam when Finn hurt his shoulder.
Whenever just killed his momentum with Vince.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. U.S. title, Austin Theory's still kind of milling around with the Brutes. He's got Pretty Deadly in his corner now to kind of balance that out. I don't think we're done with Theory and Sheamus. I think we're going to do that again, maybe at Money in the Bank. But I don't see Sheamus ending Austin Theory's reign as U.S. champion. I think Theory will move. I think Theory will probably have that title through the whole summer. He might drop it at SummerSlam.
I mean, he's had it over 200 days already.
That's crazy to think.
Why? He never wins a match fair. There's always interference.
Yeah, it's interesting because he always wins because his enemies have enemies.
Yeah.
But I like that it's consistent that keeps happening. And commentary hasn't really addressed it that I'm aware of, which is interesting because if they're not doing that on purpose, it's a pretty big coincidence. But I kind of feel like it's got to be done on purpose since it keeps happening.
I have no clue.
You even pointed out in that match because Pretty Deadly literally hit their finisher, tagged Austin Theory in, and he just went in for the pin. That was it.
Yeah.
So I think we are going to build to eventually where somebody's going to tell Austin Theory he can't get it done on his own. And I think whoever finally points that out is probably going to be the one to dethrone him. Mm-hmm. For the Intercontinental title, so this has a lot of.
I'm going to put a random thing out there. It's going to be Baron Corbin. Random name I just thought of, even though he's on NXT now.
No, Corbin's a heel. The Intercontinental title, so this has a lot of moving parts to it because it definitely seems like Riddle is the next challenger. Apparently, Ali put on a great match at Night of Champions with Gunther. Apparently, Ali sold his ass off, and Gunther sold his ass off for Ali. So, good that Ali got that spotlight because Ali's fantastic. But it definitely seems like we're moving forward with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's still kind of hanging out with KO and Sammy. And KO and Sammy are kind of fighting with Imperium. Kevin Owens is losing his mind because he's like, his character right now is kind of like a character that's just now realized they're on a TV show. Because he's starting to question when things don't make sense, and Sammy kind of has to calm him down. So I kind of feel like Kevin Owens is kind of in his own version of the Matrix almost, maybe. Where like he at one point he was like, "Why'd they come out?" He's like,
the Matrix, so I'm not really sure.
Well, that might be a bad example.
Yeah,
basically, like Imperium came out, and Kevin Owens was like, "Why'd they come out? We didn't mention them. That's the rule. You mentioned them, they come out. We didn't mention
like whenever
them."
they
breaking
break
his mind.
I like whenever they kind of break. Is that kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
I like whenever they do that in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I like to know behind the scenes.
I just want so many batshit things to happen on the show that don't make sense that at one point on Raw, we go backstage and Owens is just in a corner just rocking.
But he's always been cranky. Look, whenever Elias was Ezekiel, he's always been cranky. He always questions things.
Well, I mean, I think Owens had a bone to pick there that was legit.
Yeah.
But I think also that Kevin Owens might have been as happy to see Chad Gable as I was.
I know, he wanted to do the shoosh, or he wanted to do the a thank you thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's like, say that thing that you say that's so funny, and I always chuckle.
I know.
And Chad Gable like built it up. He's just like, well, thank you. And Kevin Owens is like, that's it. But I feel like where him and Owens are getting wrong, I feel like Alpha Academy might be turning face.
Maybe.
Which would be
because
really
we have
fun.
them all. We have all Alpha Academy working together. We even have like the one lady.
Yeah, Maxine's even helping
Maxine.
them and working with them.
Poor Maxine. So she just had this one simple kick. That's all she had to do this week.
Mm-hmm.
Poor girl. I saw her pick up her foot like 20 times before she actually kicked it. And it's like, girlfriend, just kick her head. You have one job, Maxine. Kick Valkyria in the... No. Valhalla.
Yeah,
I yelled that.
Yeah.
Valhalla. There's too many vowels.
Yeah.
But just kick Valhalla in the head.
Mm-hmm.
One job. But did you notice she kept like picking up
No,
her foot?
I didn't notice that.
I like zoomed in on that because I'm like, girl, just pick up that leg and kick her already.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. But what was funny about that match, because it was Alpha Academy against Imperium, and Imperium won. What was funny about it was Kevin Owens kind of overtook commentary to where Corey Graves couldn't even get a word in.
Corey Graves looks so mad.
Which is interesting because Corey Graves does that to everybody else. So it was interesting to see the shoe on the other foot. And plus it works because Owens is a face and Graves is a heel, so he kind of went up on him.
Plus, more Kevin Owens talking, less Kevin Patrick talking. And that really winded voice.
Yeah. KP's not working.
I hope that voice didn't sound sensual. I meant for it to sound like Kevin Patrick.
He seems like a nice enough guy, but I just don't think... I would much rather have Vic Joseph.
I know, I really like Vic Joseph.
Yeah, I'd rather Vic Joseph came in. Or bring Tom Phillips back, but I think he's an Impact.
But I just don't feel like Booker T and Kevin Patrick would get along.
No, Booker T would run over Kevin Patrick.
Yeah,
Vic
does
Vic's
really well
good.
keeping him in check.
He does. Vic
he
does
like
very
calls
well.
him out and like
Yeah,
he's like, "What are you doing, Book?" And
Vic
like
handles Booker T very well.
yes, yeah.
I would agree with that.
I feel like I would like Kevin Patrick better if I just don't know why he just sounds like he's always out of breath.
I think it's that and the fact that Kevin Patrick doesn't seem to have a personality.
Oh man!
Like, and I don't. Like I said, I'm sure he's a nice
I mean,
enough
he
dude.
like laughs and stuff.
Yeah, but like Corey Graves has personality. Wade Barrett has personality.
Yes.
Booker T has personality.
Michael Cole has personality now.
Yeah, now that Vince is out of his ear,
Michael
Cole
Cole's
has
like
personality.
owning it, running
Yeah,
it.
Michael Cole's on like a career renaissance with
He
Vince
really
out
is,
of
and
his
it's like
ear.
ending.
Because everybody's like, oh yeah, Michael Cole's really good at what he does.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was just a fun little thing I noticed.
I forget what we're even talking about.
Kevin Owens getting one.
I was gonna say we got a little off topic there.
Just a little. Okay, so as far as the women's titles, Grayson Waller had a segment on SmackDown with Asuka, which those two paired together.
That was fun.
Yeah. My one thing right now is Grayson Waller on the main roster doesn't seem to be really heel enough.
No, he just seemed to like.
I thought we were going there when he told AJ Styles that he couldn't wait for Seth Rollins to beat him. I thought we were going to go there.
It's like he's not as brutal as he was in NXT. Like, that dude was literally like going toe to toe with Shawn Michaels before he got called up.
Yeah.
And was saying pretty brutal things to him.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I still like Grayson Waller. I love Grayson Waller.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope he doesn't lose that. I just feel like the main roster dampens people sometimes. Like they go there and it's like they have to change to fit what the main roster wants them to be.
Yeah.
They don't understand them. They don't know how to get them like that same appeal they have in NXT. And it just
it's getting better because I feel like they get McDonough because McDonough just wasted Ziggler.
Yeah.
Like I think,
but if you really wanted to prove a point, you could have picked somebody other than Ziggler. Which I love Dolph Ziggler. I know that's like what his role is now, but
I know why they use Ziggler so much for that because Ziggler has a pretty decent resume. He's a former world champion.
I mean, I know. I get
champion.
that.
Yeah.
However, if you want to keep toting that, you gotta let him win some and not just show up to get beat.
Yeah.
Because he is not a threat now.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see
and
that.
I like Dolph Ziggler. I've always liked Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I am a much bigger Ryan Nemeth fan myself, but I love Ryan Nemeth. But I got off topic talking about Ryan Nemeth. I forget what I was even saying now.
We were talking about how you just were saying that Ziggler's accolades are in the past, so
right, because I'm not taking away from that. I know he's been successful, but here lately,
yeah, I get it. Switching back to Grayson Waller and Asuka's segment. So Io Sky came out,
which is hella fun,
and I was like, "Oh, let's do that!
Yeah,
let's do that!"
Yeah.
And then Bailey came out because Io and Asuka were like
they were going at it
in Japanese,
yes.
and the crowd was wutting them, and it's just like
heaven forbid you don't know what people are speaking in America.
Yeah,
that's like a cardinal sin.
Well, Bailey came out translated, so so then all the Money in the Bank people came out. Lacey Evans came out. Zelina Vega came out.
Get her off of TV. Get her out of there.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with you on this one.
No. She said things that are terrible.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And very uneducated.
Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean,
she's like a cockroach.
I mean, if you know the kind of work the line of work that we do, you would know why we don't really.
Yeah, we work with developmental disabilities.
Well, you don't. I work with mental health now,
well,
but it still applies because what she said about mental health.
Yes. You can't. This sounds terrible, but because I want nobody to go through depression because I'm literally diagnosed with depression. So it sucks when you have your down days. You have your down days, but I just want Lacey Evans to feel that one day, and then I want to look at her and be like, "Oh, sweetheart, just go get some air, go exercise, just work hard, and it'll all go away." Because that works. You dumb bitch.
Well, anyway,
I'm just saying, I can be that aggressive because I have depression. depression.
I know.
I have like mental health stuff.
Then you got your wish because Lacey and Zelina Vega fought in a Money in the Bank qualifying match, and Lacey lost.
I wanted her to be annihilated, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Yeah, but anyway, Asuka, the women started brawling in the ring. All of them got together, and then Asuka just randomly appeared on the ramp. It was just like, hey, like getting everybody's attention. And then she got jumped by Bianca. So apparently, we're not done with Bianca yet. Let's just put the Raw Women's title on Raw. I don't know if they're going to use Money in the Bank to get it over there or what.
They haven't even talked about it.
No, they haven't. Just at this point, just rename the titles. I'm not going into it again because I go into it every week. Rhea Ripley is still gloating about her win with Natty, but she doesn't really seem to have a challenger in the wings or anything. I don't remember anybody stepping to her that wasn't a man this week. So, not much to talk about there. But going to Money in the Bank, so far we've had one women's match to qualify, and we've had 3 men's matches to qualify. The woman that qualified was Zelina Vega. Good for Zelina Vega. They seem to want to push her right now, and I'm for that.
People are behind
I like
her,
Zelina.
so, yeah.
Plus, she's a giant nerd, which,
she's a hot nerd.
I'm all for that.
She's like a hot nerd.
Yeah, those are rare. As on the men's side, we're shaping up pretty good. Nakamura qualified by beating Bronson Reed. Ricochet qualified by beating The Miz. And then the highlight of my night, LA Knight qualified by beating Montez Ford, and the crowd was there for it. Montez was getting booed whenever he'd get the upper hand on LA Knight. So, yeah. And at one point, all the crowd was cheering for LA Knight, and even LA Knight in the ring acknowledged it.
He did,
he still won by a heel tactic, but I feel like we might be starting a slow turn with LA Knight.
Maybe.
People
love him.
I don't want him to turn all the way. I've said it before. I want him to be 90s rock. I want him to be a tweener. I want us to be able to cheer for him, but he's still a dick.
Yeah.
I think that's LA Knight's sweet spot.
We are full of all kinds of things. We're calling people dicks. I really very vehemently called somebody a bitch.
Yeah.
We are full of names today.
Yeah. Lenny turned your page there. But yeah, I'm stoked that LA Knight's in the ladder match. I want LA Knight to win the damn Money in the Bank. I don't care. I don't care. And I mean, he's not nearly built up enough to take on Roman or Rollins. So he's somebody that I could see having the Money in the Bank briefcase for a while he builds up to be that challenger. And I'm here for that rise. Yeah. Let LA Knight hold that thing for damn near the whole year. Let him do it.
That would be fun. You were in such a good mood after he won.
I was. It lifted my whole night.
It did. You were cheering.
I was.
You were very loud. Yes.
So excited. So the money in the men's Money in the Bank is shaping up to be pretty fun. The women's is off to a good start with Vega. It definitely seems like Zoe Stark's going to qualify because she's facing Natty.
Natty. Oh yeah.
Becky is facing Sonya Deville, so Becky's probably getting in as well.
Yeah.
So I love the Money in the Bank matches. They're some of my favorite matches that happen during the course of the year.
Yeah.
I love car crash matches, and it's just ladders upon ladders upon ladders.
I like car crash matches to an extent. I tend to prefer WWE's car crash matches more, just because they're not as bloody, and sometimes AEW gets too bloody for me. So I tend to prefer,
especially if Jon Moxley's involved.
Yeah, sometimes I have to look away during his matches. I just can't handle the blood.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of people that think that that's Jon Moxley's whole shtick. I don't think that way because he's had plenty of matches where he doesn't bleed at all.
I mean, even if it is, why does it matter if that's what
everybody's
he enjoys?
Got their thing. He's the deathmatch guy. That's what he does. Speaking of Zoe Stark, Becky and Trish is continuing.
With Zoe Stark kind of involved now more,
it'll be a great.
What a good rub for Zoe Stark.
Yeah,
to get called up to the main roster and get paired up with Trish Stratus.
Yeah, and she's in a good place
Becky
too
Lynch.
because the big complaint coming out of her in NXT that I saw a lot of people say was she didn't have much of a character. She's with 2 people that's really going to help her with that.
That was my thing too. I get that she can wrestle, but she's just very plain. Very plain Jane heel to me. So this is a really good pairing for her.
I think we should do more stuff like this in NXT where you take somebody that is ready in one aspect and maybe they need a little polish on the other, so pair them with somebody that's really good at that.
Yeah.
This is how you can use an NXT call-up to your benefit, especially if they don't seem quite ready yet.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of are doing that with Pretty Deadly as well. They haven't really been on their own because I think their strong suit is...
Their strong suit's character work.
Yes.
And that's Austin Theory's weakness. Because
So that was a very good pairing.
He's trying with his whole, like, I'm the now. Like, he's trying. It's just not clicking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a very good pairing because they are so, like, I was just doing their thing. Yeah. They're so charismatic and they're so, I just love Pretty Deadly.
Yeah. And I feel like the main roster crowd is starting to get them. I was kind of worried about the main roster crowd not getting Pretty Deadly.
I mean, should I be blunt and say why? Because we've been to many shows and there's a lot of homophobic people there.
Oh, yeah, could be.
So, yes. I mean, granted, the area that we're in is near West Virginia. So we're not known for being, like, progressive.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that takes care of that. The women's tag titles, we have new champs. Ronda and Shayna won the titles. I feel like everybody saw that coming from a mile away.
Which everybody knows that I am just not a fan of Ronda Rousey. I think she is kind of another scummy person.
It's the Lacey Evans argument again for you, I think.
It is.
But they'll be good tag champs. They'll legitimize the belts.
Right. You didn't let me finish because what I was going to say was I don't like her, but I do like that they're champs because right now I feel like they're the most cohesive women's tag team that they have right now.
Yeah.
So I think, while I don't like Ronda Rousey, I do like that at least they're the champs.
And you like Shayna Baszler.
I do like Shayna Baszler.
You didn't used to.
Her wrestling style just wasn't my cup of tea. It was very boring to me. But then she seemed to get more of a personality too. So then I was like, okay, I'm more of a gimmick person.
Yeah.
So like, yes, it's great if you have wrestling, like, it'll keep me invested more if you can wrestle, but I love gimmicks. That's what really hooks me.
Yeah. On the other side, the Unholy Union got another vignette. They've been called up now. They've been called up now for about 3 or 4 weeks, I think, and they haven't wrestled yet.
I don't know if they know what to do with them.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Like,
I don't know. I don't think they know what to do with those tag titles either.
No, I think they wanted another women's tag team, but it's like there were so many options in NXT. Why'd you have to make it more complicated by picking the champion?
And Kaden Carter and Katana Chance haven't wrestled either.
I forgot about them.
Yeah, they haven't wrestled.
I forgot they were called up.
So I'm kind of wondering why we called them up. Maybe we have something planned for them.
They might, and maybe they're just waiting for something to like finish before they can start.
Yeah, and maybe it was one of those cases where they're like, well, let's go ahead and pull them out of NXT so NXT can move forward.
Yeah, because maybe they just wanted to get like the title on Shayna and oh my God, Ronda. Yeah. I want to say Shayna and Baszler. Shayna and Ronda, and then maybe get them established and then maybe...
Because Chance and Carter have teamed for a while, too. They're also a very cohesive unit.
They are.
Yeah, and people in NXT love them.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember whenever...
I remember when they wrestled the Mae Young Classic.
I was going to say, I remember whenever... Yeah. I don't remember which one's which. Which one's Katana? The one that was on Ninja Warrior?
Yep.
The other one. Yeah. The other one. Which one is she?
That's Kaden Carter.
Kaden Carter.
In the Mae Young Classic, she was like Lucy Lane, I think.
I was going to say, I remember whenever she first showed up to NXT, man, watching her and being like, oh, not too... Yeah. It wasn't too impressive at first. The girl's really... She's improved.
She had potential.
Yeah.
And you could see it. And she's a very good example of what NXT can do for you.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in AEW that I think would crush it in NXT.
Hit Row?
Hit Row's not in AEW.
Oh, I thought we were... Are we not talking about WWE?
Yes, we are, but I was making the connection. I think there's a lot of AEW people that need to round some things out that would crush it in NXT.
Oh, yeah, but WWE, I think Hit Row needs to go back to NXT.
Yeah, they're just kind of floating in the abyss there.
Yeah, they need to improve, I think.
Because
their match that they had, I don't remember who they fought.
They need a leader. They need
Who did Hit Row fight?
They fought.
I don't remember who they fought. All I know is that whenever I watched that match, I was like, they need more work.
Who did they fight?
All I know is the girl. I don't remember their names. What's the girl's name?
B-Fab.
I know she went to slap somebody and she missed by like 500 miles. And I was like, good grief, that was one simple job. It's just slap somebody.
They fought Gallows and Anderson. Hit Row fought Gallows and Anderson.
Gallows. Oh, I thought you said Gallus. So I was like, Gallus is not on NXT? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I do feel like they need more
Yeah.
work.
Last thing with main roster is Cody and Brock. Not much to tell here. Cody went out, cut a promo, said Brock's scared of him. I'm ready for them to do one more and be done.
I'm ready for it to be over.
It's been an interesting ride, but I also kind of feel like when you feud with Brock, it's very easy to go into neutral for a little bit because Brock's schedule's so sporadic. It's like feuding with Roman.
Yeah.
And I think Cody needs some stuff during the week to keep him going. I get that he's not wrestling because he's selling the whole arm right now. I do understand that, but, I don't know. I just feel like... I almost feel like Cody doesn't feel like a part of the show. Because Cody feuds with all the major attractions.
I could see that.
I feel like Cody's kind of disconnected from everybody
He kind of
else.
seems like too larger than life.
He
He seems more larger than life than Roman, that they just celebrate 1,000
yeah,
champs for.
like a few weeks ago when he fought in that triple threat to qualify for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was kind of weird seeing him in there with the people that had been there every week. Like a few weeks ago, he wrestled Balor. And that should be, awesome. But I was just looking at it, and I was like, Cody looks really out of place fighting Finn Balor.
Well, that was my beef from the very beginning with Cody. And everybody poo-pooed me because I was like, he's coming in and he's fighting all these big people. Like, where's he going to go from here? Like, that was my biggest thing.
But I think it's because...
And now, time is going on, and you're like, oh, he just seems like he's too big. And it's
I think what it is Cody is big like Roman and Brock. He's just there every week. That's the difference. Because they're going to do that with Cody because Cody just came from their biggest competition that he helped build, and they're going to want to shove it in their face that he's their big cheese.
Well, the thing is, though, but that might be the case, but WWE screwed themselves again with this one, I think, because what are you going to do once he's defeated Brock, he defeats Roman? What are you going to do?
I'm honestly surprised they didn't make Cody a free agent and just have him appear on both shows.
Yeah.
That kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get back to Roman. I don't know how, because Roman's on SmackDown, Cody's on Raw. In theory, it should be pretty hard to get back over there. I don't think Cody should win the Royal Rumble again.
You just want LA... Wait, no, that's Money in the Bank. Never mind.
Yeah, I want LA Knight to win Money in the Bank. I don't know who I want to win Royal Rumble. I'll tell you in November, December.
I would tell you, but I won't remember.
It's probably changed too.
Yeah.
Because mine would change after today too. Because 3 months ago I wouldn't have said I wanted LA Knight to win Money in the Bank.
Yes, you've been saying that for months.
Has it really been 3 months?
I don't know if it's been 3 months, but it's been a while.
Okay.
You always say this. You've been theorizing this on this podcast about how you would plan it, and it's been him winning Money in the Bank for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. But that takes care of the main roster. I don't really have anything else to go over as far as the main roster. So let's go ahead and move on to NXT. All right, so NXT this week, Carmelo Hayes had his first challenger, Noam Dar, which you have become a fan of Noam Dar.
I do love Noam Dar.
Noam Dar and Hayes fought in the main event with the title on the line, and Carmelo Hayes won. And then I don't think anybody saw this coming. Carmelo Hayes got jumped by Baron Corbin.
I know, I did not see that coming, but I'm okay with that though. Give Baron something to do, and
it is because Baron Corbin gets a bad rap.
He does. I like Baron.
Baron Corbin's very good at his job.
He is.
He's very good at his job.
He is.
And from all accounts, he seems like a very nice guy.
Right.
But yeah, I think Corbin gets a bad rap because Corbin was forced to be the top heel in everybody's face, especially during that dark period of Raw where even the McMahons came on and blamed it all on Baron Corbin.
Should I make that comment? Open your mouth and shove Baron Corbin in it.
Stop clawing my couch. So yeah, I'm okay with Baron Corbin doing this.
Yeah.
It could be, it could either be the start of Baron Corbin rising back up, or maybe he goes to NXT and keeps failing. We could go some different directions with Baron Corbin. We've built something here that we could take some different directions and make interesting.
Yeah.
North American title.
We had Ali show up.
Yeah, Ali just came out of the crowd and sat on commentary.
Yeah.
During the tag match.
Schism versus Wesley and Tyler Bate.
Yeah. And of course, Joe Gacy came out. Ali came in for the save. Ali definitely seems to have eyes on the North American title.
Yes, because he said he was there. He's like, I'm a free agent. I can show up anywhere I want.
Yeah, and I am here for Ali
Yes.
versus Wesley.
Oh my god, that'd be so good.
That would be a great match.
I
Wesley's
feel,
fantastic.
and I feel like people forget just how good Ollie is because he's kind of booked like shit.
Yeah,
He's kind of forgotten about.
yeah. And I like watching Wesley wrestle. Wesley has become one of my favorite people on NXT
He's
to watch.
very good.
His
But
matches
see,
are fun.
I really liked Rascals. Is that the tag? Is that the?
I think that's where he came from. I think that's what I've heard you say.
I liked them.
Mhm.
They were just so fun because it was like the 70s show thing. They would just sit around, acting like they were smoking pot around like a table, and it was just very fun.
Oh,
You
I
can't
don't
do
know
that
much
on
about
NXT.
it. No, you can't do that. on
WWE,
NXT.
you can't even mention that.
No, I don't think that's. I don't think that's
You
true.
can mention that now?
Riddle. Riddle has a
that's
shirt that says
true.
420, bro.
That's true. That's his whole
Yeah.
gimmick is being perpetually stoned.
Yeah, and then he kills you. Like that's his thing. By the way, I didn't say this during the main roster stuff. I think Riddle and Gunther will slap and slap hard, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what's going on with the North America title. As far as the women's title in NXT, we had our Tiffy Bration, and just like Roman with his special day, she kind of had everything come crashing down around her because she brought all
She
the
made
women
all
out.
the women come out.
Yeah, which why would you do that?
Because it's Tiffany Stratton.
And then all of them went in there. Actually, Thea Hale threw the first shot.
Good little Thea Hale.
Yeah, and then everybody was out there beating on each other, and Tiffany Stratton got out of the ring, and she was just so upset that her Tiffy Bration was ruined. Well, Tiffany, you brought this.
I
on
just
yourself.
have such a soft spot for Thea Hale because she came from Rise Wrestling, who's just like right down the road from us. So like, I have a soft spot for Thea Hale. Plus, she's a baby. She's 19 or something, right? So like,
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for Thea Hale.
She's somebody that in the NXT system, if she progresses, she could be.
She's gonna be
She
like,
could be a big deal.
yes, because
She could.
she's so young and like she has time to grow, learn still. So.
And I'll
Yeah.
bet I'm gonna call it right now. I think one day Thea Hale's gonna make an excellent heel.
I can
when she
see that
turns.
because she's just so peppy. Because look at Bailey.
I want.
Does anybody remember Bailey as a baby face? The side pony. She is like, I think she's an excellent heel.
Yeah,
What she does might not stick, but if you're at a show and you see her interacting with the fans, she has it down as a heel.
Yeah, I think Bailey's best heel run was probably during the pandemic
Yeah.
when her and Sasha were running things.
Which, side note, I saw something. I want to get your opinion on this. So, let's talk about Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. And you know how Ronda Rousey went and demanded champion that they be champs, basically, right?
No, she didn't demand they be champs. She demanded
So what
to
did she
work with
demand?
Shayna.
But
She just wanted to work with Shayna.
But she made demands. She was
Yeah.
very demanding in what she wanted,
Yeah.
and they were okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something came out where somebody was like, okay, so why didn't you do that with Naomi and Sasha Banks?
Because they see Ronda Rousey as a bigger deal because she's a crossover star.
Which is so crazy to me.
It is,
Ronda
but that's how they
Rousey
see
can't
it.
wrestle worth shit. She can't. Don't tell me she can. Don't even act like she can wrestle.
She's not as good as she was when she debuted.
Was she good then? Because I didn't think so.
Passable.
If you say so. But all I know is I just saw that, and I don't really know what I think about that though, because it was two different situations. But at the same time, it's like, once again,
Plus-
Ronda Rousey has no consequences for what she can demand, but if somebody else does it, then that's a no-go. But with Ronda Rousey, it's okay.
It just depends on who y'all are. That's why CM Punk gets away with what he does because of who he
Let's
is
not talk
and
about
what
him.
he's done.
We're not going to talk about him.
It's what it's based on.
I know, but you can't talk about him without me getting all pissy. So
Okay. Well, then we'll just move on.
yes.
We finally had what felt like a decent match between JC Jane and Gigi Dolan.
Finally, yes,
Yeah.
and it was good.
And Gigi bled. Gigi bled in a place that looked like it sucked. Like, it was like kind of the back of her head.
Yeah, and it was
kinda.
early in the match too that it
Yeah.
happened. I don't really know where it happened, but it was a good match. They finally got a match, I feel like, where they could showcase what they're like. And yet again, somebody got hurt in it, but at least they could keep going.
Yeah, and I'm ready for that feud to be dope.
Because it kind of sucks because with every time that they've fought, they've got hurt and they've had to stop the match.
Yeah.
Which annoys me.
I tell you one thing that I like with this feud that they didn't do, which would have been really tempting for them to do, was involve the title. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I could see them doing.
They danced around it. Like, they both were kind of like...
They were in
like
qualified
yeah,
matches.
but they never really...
It's like, they didn't make the mistake they made with Goldberg and Lesnar at Mania 33, where they were like, we're going to have Goldberg and Lesnar fight. Oh, we got to put a title on it. And then by that point, they'd fucked over Jericho and Owens, who'd been building this story for 6 months.
Yeah.
For that title.
Well, and I'm sure that I know this was the final match, though, because didn't they both say they're moving on?
Yeah.
So
They've had 3. It was 1-1. Gigi
Yeah.
won the feud. We can move on.
it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I did enjoy this match. The other matches, not so much, but I enjoyed this one.
It definitely seems like if you have... It seems like when you get in a big feud like this, because Cody Brock went 1-1, they're going to have a third. Bianca and Asuka are 1-1, they're going to have a third. Like, that seems to be the formula right now.
Which is kind of boring.
Well.
Do you agree with that, though? Do you like the threes?
I mean, I don't think we do it for everybody.
I'm very much over...
I mean, I'd rather do a best of 3, despite the fact that all the matches were good. I mean, the Elite and Death Triangle did a best of 7.
Yeah, but those matches were amazing.
I mean, still, there was 7 of them.
Right, but they were all amazing. Gigi and JC, their first ones were not.
Yeah. Cody and Brock's first 2 matches were good.
I didn't watch his second match.
I saw the highlights of it.
I did not even.
I mean, Meltzer gave it 4 stars. But he also gave Jericho Cole 3.25.
Meltzer isn't really one to, like... He refuses to give women good ratings, so, like, it's not like he's that.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, I've seen enough evidence to know that Cody Brock at Night of Champions was probably pretty good. Very silly, but very good, from what I understand.
Yeah.
We had a return in NXT this week. Well, a return. It was somebody that had been built up. It was the person that was attacking everybody. And it's Blair Davenport, former B. Priestley.
Yes.
So we'll see what she's got.
Which I like. Well, I mean, I haven't seen her as Blair Davenport, but whenever we've seen her as B. Priestley wrestling, and I like her.
Yeah.
It's just I just hate how people are watered down when they get a WWE. That's my biggest complaint, is that I want to see, like, the nitty gritty. I don't want to see watered down stuff. But I don't feel like NXT's as watered down as the main roster, because NXT they do their own thing, and, like, they're constantly switching things up, and, like,
they're still held to the PG standard, though.
But it doesn't seem as obvious, though. I don't feel like.
No, it doesn't. It's I would agree with that.
Then why did you?
I'm saying,
disagree at first?
I'm saying, I wasn't disagreeing with your point. What I was saying was that NXT is still held to the PG standard.
Yes,
so,
and I know this.
Yeah, so they like it's still kind of pandering toward children. It's just not as in your face about his main roster.
No. Goodness gracious.
The other thing that we have noted, there's 2 more things I have noted here in the NXT discussion. Ava and Ivy Nile just need to fight already. Like, let's just do it. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see where they're both at.
I just don't know. I'm interested to see if Ava's ready to fight yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm interested because I haven't been impressed with, like, her gimmick, like her, like, out of ring stuff. So let's see if her in ring stuff impresses me just a little bit.
And speaking of things that aren't working,
Gallus.
Yeah, Gallus is just not interesting.
They're so
I'm
boring.
Sorry.
Creed brothers are not annoying. They're boring to me. Gallus is boring to me.
I prefer the Creeds over Gallus.
I don't prefer either. I'm going to be honest. I would prefer to not see either.
I mean, are they talented? Sure.
Or if they're together, can we just make it? Or if I do have to see one, can we just not put them together? Because that is a snooze fest for me. A snooze fest. Remember, didn't they have a match with, like, Indusher once too? Like the 3 of them or something? Or was
The
it?
Creeds did. No.
Was it?
Yeah, the Creeds and Indushear had a feud in a match.
Which that was not
Because it was
fun
literally,
either.
I think, Indushear's only feud before they got called up to the main
And I don't
roster.
think Indushear's that good either. They're boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I could see if you liked them.
Yeah. But, I mean, I just, like, the guys...
Dallas was not this boring on NXT UK, were they? They were not,
I don't
right?
remember. That was a long time ago.
They didn't just sit in a pub and drink all the time, though, right? That's all they want to do now is just get drunk.
Well, they'll wrestle.
Yeah, and then go get drunk again the next thing.
I want them to have a gimmick match in a bar.
I thought they were going to. Whenever Tony Stacks and Tony D'Angelo and then Creed Brothers went in there, I thought they were going to fight in the bar.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case.
Tony D'Angelo and Stacks, speaking of those two, something's going on. I'm wondering where this Tony D'Angelo story is going to go.
It kind of lost me, honestly, because it's just too...
It's too outside the box for you.
It is. I don't want to see a wrestler get fake arrested, fake interrogated. No. I don't watch wrestling for like a soap opera. I mean, like, I guess it's a soap opera. I don't watch it for like that kind of stuff. And then we watched him get like his pictures taken, like his mugshots, and it's like, I don't care about this. Like, we had no other storyline that we could do.
I'll see where it goes because NXT's that little experimental playground. I want to see.
I mean,
what
I might love it, but right now,
I really feel like it's going to come out that Stacks had something to do with it
because
Gallus keeps denying it.
But which is crazy because I'm pretty sure he said at one time that he did it, and now he's like, not me, not me.
They didn't say they did it. They said, "Oh, that's unfortunate," implying that they did it. But I think Stacks might have something to do with it because normally when you call out a heel like that for something like that, they would own it and be proud of it. It's weird that Gallus is denying it.
Gallus? Are they heels? Are they heels?
I'm not sure.
I just thought they liked to drink.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Well, they cheat. Joe Coffey cheats.
But the other two didn't, though, until he came along.
But this brings an interesting question. Like, if they're the heels, does that mean we're supposed to cheer the criminals? Like, because that's what Tony is. Wrestling's weird. I love it. It's better than anything everybody else likes. Because now I'm questioning, should I be cheering for the career criminal?
I just don't. I cannot get into this stuff right now, so... Whenever he comes on, I tend to just tune it out.
I want to see where it goes, and I really think Stacks is going to be involved.
I mean, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the last thing Tony D'Angelo can do in NXT is feud with Stacks. But at the same time, I kind of like to see them debut together, but we'll see.
I don't know.
But that's kind of the major stuff that happened on NXT.
Okay, let's move on to AEW.
Yeah, let's move on. All right, so AEW this week, we didn't really have any fallout from the world title match with the Four Pillars. MJF's going to come back next week, so there's not really anything to talk about there. Plus, we're going to kind of start building for Forbidden Door. This is kind of a strange area for AEW because
it's like they forget their other storylines and focus on
Forbidden Door. Yeah,
and it's like you guys could have been playing this months ahead and had stories going instead of just making everything stop.
Yeah, but it's. I like Forbidden Door. I think the show was fun when it happened. It just kind of brings AEW TV to a halt.
It does, but I do enjoy it because we don't watch New Japan Wrestling.
Yeah, it's really the only dose of New Japan we get.
Yes.
Except, this week on Rampage, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Because, I mean, it's not like...
Shibata.
And it's not like we... Like, I know we would enjoy it. We just don't have time. So it's very nice to,
it's the same with Ring of Honor.
We barely have time to watch the wrestling that we watch anyway. 4 days out of the 5.
Yeah.
Work, like, weekdays. So...
Yeah, plus pay-per-views, plus Collision's coming, plus Ring of Honor. There's a lot of wrestling out there.
Yeah.
A lot. But we'll go ahead and kick off with the other big story that's going on, Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. There was a trios match between Bandito and the Lucha Brothers against Claudio, Yuta, and Jon Moxley, which was a good match. After that match, Blackpool Combat Club won. And we went backstage and we were talking to the Bucks and Hangman. And Alex Marvez was back there. I call him Scoops. I think that's funny.
Which one is he?
He's
who that is.
the bigger guy with the glasses.
Oh my god, the terrible actor.
Maybe. Maybe. But anyway, he's talking to Hangman, and they're talking about, like, where's Kenny? And they're like, Kenny's pissed off. And Marvez was like, there's rumors that Kenny went back to Canada, left the country. And then as that happens, Dark Order comes up, so we're finally paying this off. We've been paying it off on being the Elite for weeks. But now we're going to bring it to TV. And Dark Order is just like, hey, how you doing?
I saw something that Evil Uno tweeted like yesterday, the day before. It was recently, and it was just talking about how like he's alone. Dark Order has been alone. Like it was very much like cryptic. Like, okay, I feel like this is continuing a story here, but
yeah. I saw something that somebody posted the other day that I think is interesting, and they were like, what if like because everybody knows Dark Order as like the lovable goofs, but before they were kind of like the evil cult, and they were like, what if they never left the evil cult and the goofs was just like a facade?
Oh my god.
And they actually have evil intentions with Hangman.
Oh my god, Lenny scared me.
That would be I'd be interested to see how that would work. I don't know that I trust Tony Khan to tell that story consistently, but I like the idea. But anyway, Dark Order came up, Hangman got mad and left, and Hangman was like, he said, you know, Kenny's gone, or he's out of the country, but he's not in Canada, and he didn't elaborate.
He's in Japan.
So everybody was
he's in Japan picking his friend.
Like everybody that was watching was like, oh my god, Kenny went to go get Coda. Kenny went to go get Coda. Because Don Callis has Takeshita now.
Thank you. All I can think of is because of MJF. All I can think of when I want to say his name is Take a Shitta. So thank you, MJF, for forever ruining how to say his name.
But it always helps me remember how to spell it.
That's true. But all I want to say is Take a Shitta. And it's like, God damn it, MJF.
Did you see the video that somebody posted from the arena of during Don Callis' promo where the boos were so loud that you couldn't even hear Don Callis?
Really?
Yes.
So it was like about Dominic level.
There were some people saying it was at or above Dominic.
I mean, you don't mess with the beloved Kenny Omega.
Yeah, but like that's just
him.
crazy to me that like you couldn't even hear Don Callis.
I could tell he had to like yell on the microphone.
Yeah, he was. It was good, long sustained.
Takeshita, I must say it again. Takeshita, you could tell he was enjoying it because at one point in time the camera caught on him and like looked at him and he was just like kind of smirking a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, he knows that they're golden with this right now.
Yeah, I really like this direction that we've gone. I love that.
Don Callis, what do you call him? You carny piece of shit. Is
that's
that what you call
Christian
him?
Started that. Christian Cage started that. And that's what all the comments say, like in the live threads and stuff. They're like, oh, Don, you carny piece of shit. I love it. I love that the Elite were starting to go face, and Don Callis just couldn't handle it and had to do something shitty. And here we are. It's worked. It's worked. Callis probably has more heat than anybody in AEW right now.
This is the honest. Okay. I feel like I sound so bitter this episode. I didn't give a shit about Don Callis before.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now?
Now you're invested in Don.
And I'm not even like, I mean, I like Kenny Omega, but I'm not even like a huge fan of Kenny Omega.
What's funny about this whole thing with Don Callis is he just keeps saying the same thing. He's like, I'm the victim here, and then he doesn't elaborate.
I know.
Like,
when he talks about his scar, I got this scar, and it's like, but you literally did the same thing to Kenny Omega.
Well, not only that, but the person that gave you the scar is John Moxley, who you helped win. So, Don, I need an explanation. But it might.
But it all comes back to Adam Page,
yeah, but it also might be kind of fun that Don is just so delusional about this that he has no good argument.
I do like whenever wrestlers are in that delusional phase and they like just aren't making any sense, but in their mind, they make the most sense ever. I do love Jericho's brilliant at that. I don't care if you hate Jericho. You have to admit that he's brilliant at what he does.
Yeah.
Like, you have to admit that. Like, you can't be that bitter of a person where you couldn't admit that he is good at his job.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I really like Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Granted, not as much recently. He's kind of been in my face a little too. I will not say that again, but I do feel like
I was waiting for it.
I'm not going to make that again because I I didn't realize how sexual that sounded at first with Cody Rhodes until Chris told me off camera. Do you get how dirty that sounded?
Yeah.
I was like, no, what is it? So I won't say it again.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, the Blackpool Combat Club Elite stuff is continuing, but we're adding new layers to it. We brought in new people with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to end up at Blood and Guts, or maybe even All In to bring in Coda. I don't know.
I mean, it's been a pretty bloody match, so Blood and Guts would make sense.
Yeah,
It's been a pretty bloody
it's been a fun feud. I've enjoyed this.
But
feud.
Moxley's involved, so of course it's going to be a bloody feud.
Yeah.
And Bryan Danielson. I don't think Bryan Danielson cares at all about getting bloody. I think he gets enjoyment from it.
Yeah, I just love how Bryan Danielson. Did you know that? I think you knew because I told you this before. Bryan Danielson's been in AEW less than 2 years. Anarchy in the Arena being the 5-star Dave Meltzer match. Bryan Danielson, since he's been in AEW, less than 2 years, has put on 21 matches that Dave Meltzer has rated 4.5 stars or higher. That's insane.
I am just loving Bryan Danielson and like the life that he gets to live right now because he's going to retire soon, and I feel like in AEW he gets to go back to like what he's known for.
Yeah,
he's not WWE's. What was his name in? Dana Bryan. Oh my God. I struggled so much to remember it whenever he first switched over, but he's not that person that he was there. This is like Ring of Honor, kick your fucking head in type shit.
Yeah.
Again.
As I told MJF during their feud, he said, you're going to get your fucking head kicked in.
Yes. And it just makes me want to chant. I love whenever I love whenever wrestling fans cuss in their chants. I know it shuts down WWE, but I love
that
it.
happened on SmackDown when Jimmy Pie faced
because heaven forbid you say the word shit. Parents get mad if you say shit.
Yeah, but Cody can wrestle with a purple titty and it's fine. What?
I just wasn't expecting you to say that.
But anyway, I think we pretty much killed that conversation. So that's what's going on with Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. Something else that happened later. This is moving on to other things.
I thought you were doing sign language.
The next thing we want to talk about: OC and Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin teamed up against Swerve's people, the Gates of Agony. Which the Gates of Agony really put on a good show. Like I didn't know much about them going into that match, but now they're pretty good. I like them.
Yeah.
Swerve kind of came out, watched what was going on because it's part of Swerve's crew, and so on Wednesday, well. Beyond that, Sting came out for the save whenever Swerve came out, and Brian Cage.
Oh, Swerve.
So Sting's back. Sting, I know, is also close to retirement. I know he said Darby's involved, so I'm really curious what they're going to do with those two. I know the idea's been pitched to have Darby turn on Sting.
Oh no!
I don't really want that. I want Darby to retire Sting in a respectful way,
right? Because that's just been them. They've just been very.
Yeah.
They've just elevated each other.
Yeah. But then they announced that Swerve is going to face Orange Cassidy for his international title on Wednesday, and I think Orange Cassidy might lose this.
I'm okay with him losing to Swerve. I like Swerve. Why can't he get a feud before he loses the title, though?
I mean, if he
why can't he feud with Swerve a couple weeks before he loses to him? Like, why can't there be shenanigans each time, and then like he finally loses it like a pay-per-view?
I mean, it's possible he doesn't lose to Swerve, or maybe he beats Swerve the first time, but Swerve sticks around and we do have a feud.
I mean, I like Swerve. I would be fine with him having a title. I really enjoy Swerve.
Yeah.
But it's just...
I still think...
give Orange Cassidy something.
I still think that whatever babyface beats MJF to get his title, Swerve should beat them and be the world champion. I still will die on my
Swerve
hill.
is just so good. And he's really cool in person as well. He was fun.
Yeah.
So, I just... Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Orange Cassidy's number might be up soon with the international title, but I could be wrong. I was wrong when I thought it was going to be, it was a couple weeks ago he was fighting somebody and we were like, this is it. I don't remember who it was. But yeah, I think Orange Cassidy's days are numbered, and I think Swerve might be the one to end it.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, I'm fine with. Swerve should be a champion. Okay, so it definitely looks like Jay White and Ricky Starks' feud is going to continue, and FTR got involved this week.
Yes.
So
they're sticking up for
Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks, yes. I forgot.
Which means I think Jay White and Juice Robinson need a third, I think they might get a third, and we might do that match at Forbidden Door.
That'd be fun.
Because
yeah.
they'll get somebody from Japan.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I'm not sure who's in Bullet Club over there at this point.
I don't know. I'm not even sure if Bullet Club's even still like a popular thing. I'm gonna be honest.
I feel like it's definitely not as popular as it was.
No.
Because I remember at one point you saw Bullet Club shirts like you saw
Everywhere.
NWO shirts in the 90s.
I mean, you still see them, but I think it's like the old school Bullet Club ones.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
We gotta compare in some of the other kitty Lexi.
Yeah. So, beyond that, speaking of FTR, Mark Briscoe is still kind of feuding with Jay Lethal and his people. And the strangest thing happened. So, Aubrey took a guitar shot from Karen Jarrett. And now, on Rampage, they did a segment where Mark Briscoe said that they were going to kick Karen Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett's asses and brought in Aubrey. So, is Aubrey going to wrestle? Like, what's going to happen here?
I'm okay to watch that.
I mean, I feel like I'm in some Elseworlds bizarre land where Mark Briscoe and Aubrey Edwards would be a tag team.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to see where it goes. I won't lie. It's weird, but it's weird enough that I'm interested to see what it's going to look like.
And I'm not going to lie, RJ City took a picture with Karen Jarrett, so now I'm like, if RJ City likes her, maybe I should give her a chance.
In the women's division for AEW, so we have a new world champ. Toni Storm did beat Jamie Hayter in a match that wasn't that great, but was clearly designed to get the title off of Hayter because she might be more hurt than was let off.
Which I will say, if that's the case, that was a pretty brutal match for for her being hurt. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah. So Toni Storm cut a promo. She doesn't seem to have a clear challenger. She didn't really call anybody out. Nobody stepped to her. So we'll see where that's going. She's fighting Sky Blue at a House Rules match this weekend, and that's kind of what she focused on. Was she's going to be at House Rules this weekend. So I'm sure we're going to start building a feud later.
Yeah.
It'll probably be one of Britt Baker, Shida,
probably.
or Jamie Hayter, probably.
Probably. That's all we ever fight.
Yeah, that story needs to kind of move a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been in neutral. I feel like we haven't really done anything significant. I mean, Tony taking the title off Hayter was significant, but before that, I don't think we did anything significant since Ruby joined.
I mean, Saraya and Jericho had a good match against Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Isn't that kind of continuing on with that feud? That was a pretty good match.
I feel like it's kind of a lateral move. Like they kind of
combined the two
stories.
Brought
this feud bled over into the other feud.
I honestly feel like that match was a lot better than Jericho and Adam Cole's
That match should have been the Double or Nothing match.
It should have.
That should have been the Double or Nothing match.
Saraya, you can tell that Saraya's been like training and like I think she really put Britt Baker on her head at one point in time.
Yeah.
But
I think what she do is what I would have done is I would have done the mixed tag at Double or Nothing. Come out the next week, have Jericho and Cole still have some unfinished business, and have them do their unsanctioned match as a main event of Dynamite. That's what I would have done.
Listen, I was listening, but I accidentally just punched Lex in the mouth with my pen, so I was more focused on making sure he was okay.
Oh, he's good. He's probably just irritated.
Yes.
But yeah, that Baker Cole Saraya Jericho match was fun. That should have been the pay-per-view match.
It should have, yeah, I agree.
Kris Statlander made her return. She's now the new TBS champion. She took out Jade. So Jade fell to 60-1. That was a fun moment.
It was.
Yeah, that was fun.
Because, like, she didn't beat Taya. Valkyrie.
Jade beat Taya.
Yes.
I didn't really agree with how that went down because Jade kicked out of Taya's finisher, but then Taya couldn't kick out of Jade's, and Taya's been doing it longer.
She should have had to kick out like 2 or 3 times even.
That match felt like it was just hitting second gear when it
did.
And that's unfortunate because that was shaping up to be one of Jade's better matches.
It was. I just don't know if Jade has that skill yet.
This is a good opportunity though for Jade to go away for a little bit and hone her craft.
I hope she goes to New Japan, like she wants. I think that'd be good for her, and if she wants to do it, let her do it.
Yeah.
Even Bryan Danielson's like, yeah, she'll come back a different wrestler.
Yeah. But we had Statlander defend the TBS title on Dynamite against Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
And what I like about this, and commentary pointed out, Excalibur pointed it out actually, when Nyla Rose first won the AEW the Women's World Championship, her first defense was against Kris Statlander. Now Kris Statlander's first defense of the TBS title was Nyla Rose. I like that.
Who's in charge of getting those random stats? Because good kudos to them for getting that.
I think Will Washington is now because he was hired to help with continuity.
Oh, he was the podcast person?
Yeah, he was the podcast guy, yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So that might have been something that he pulled out.
Well, if that was you, whatever your name
Washington.
is, good job.
Yeah. The Acclaimed came out. The Acclaimed really, I hate to say this, they didn't really do much. They just said that they want Billy Gunn to hold gold one more time, and didn't really elaborate on what title it was going to be.
But it had us guessing, which I think was the purpose. Because we were like, well, where could he go? He couldn't do the tag titles. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't do the trios because Acclaimed and Daddy Ass can't beat House of Black. And then you were like, well, what about international? Or like the international championship? Or like maybe something on Ring of Honor or something.
Maybe he goes to Collision and challenges Samoa Joe in a retirement match or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so... But it was cool.
Maybe he's not even close to retirement. Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
I mean, he seems pretty good to go to me.
Yeah, he's in fantastic
pretty good.
Yes. I never knew when he was in WWE just how big Billy Gunn was, like body size wise.
Yeah,
that dude's huge. We've seen him in person now at the shows and stuff, and he's huge.
We have?
Yeah.
Oh,
because we see the Acclaimed.
But I don't know if we've ever seen him with Daddy Ass, though. Have we?
Yeah, because they wrestled on Rampage and he came out with them. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. What else do I have noted
Hook
here?
and Jungle Boy. They're working together again, I guess.
because Hook was attacked by La Faction Ingobernable, LFI, which is Preston Vance and Roosh and Dralistico, and I kind of wonder if they're going to go to Collision to team back up with Andrade.
Which would be fun. I am so excited, minus the one guy.
Yeah.
He who should not be named. He's Voldemort to me at this point. He who should not be named. I'm very excited for Collision because we have like
Miro, Samoa Joe,
Thunder Rosa. We have like everybody that was gone for a little bit is coming back.
Yeah.
But yet he's the second coming.
Yeah, but like I keep telling you, I don't think he's going to be around that long. I think you're going to have to deal with him a couple years tops.
Yeah.
Couple years tops.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jungle Boy came to help out Hook. So it's kind of weird because after that championship match, like Jungle Boy's kind of moved on to do something else with Hook, which I like Hook, but Hook definitely feels like a demotion from like the world title picture.
It does. Yeah.
And that's nothing against Hook. That's just how Hook's booked.
Yeah.
Darby's still teaming with Orange Cassidy. We've never explained why that's happening.
No, I didn't understand. I thought I missed it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I was too afraid to ask because I was like, well, if I ask, Chris is going to be like,
no. Why didn't you just ask me off camera? I would have told you. I don't know where this came from.
I don't know.
And then Sammy Guevara just wasn't on TV this week, so who? But
yeah, but we just found out that came out as pregnant.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they want time to celebrate,
yeah.
I mean, granted, they had to celebrate to get to this point.
Yeah, true. So I'm interested to see I'm interested to see who MJF's next challenger is. With Forbidden Door coming, I think it's going to be a New Japan person.
I want Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. to wrestle.
I think we might get that this time.
Because Zack Sabre Jr. He came around. He's starting to come around again.
Yeah. Rampage didn't have much story other than the Mark Briscoe Aubrey stuff, but Rampage did have 4 pretty good matches.
It was pretty good, yes.
Just to run them down real quick, the first match you had Hijo del Vikingo versus Commander versus Dralistico. That was insane as it sounds, and it was fun. Hijo del Vikingo that dude is incredible.
Yeah.
That dude's a video game character, essentially. Yeah. And then you had the main event was Katsuyori Shibata. I can't believe I keep saying his name correctly. Against Lee Moriarty for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. And what's funny about this match was I was saying, like, oh, it's weird to see a Ring of Honor Pure match where Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia is not involved. Well, Daniel Garcia came out after that match and seems to be challenging Shibata again.
I wish he would have just, like, walked down dancing his little dance.
He walked out very serious. It's interesting. I feel like when the Pure Championship's involved, Daniel Garcia is all serious.
That's true. He really... Yeah. So he's a very good wrestler. I just feel like we get the same things over and over
I really feel like they dropped the ball with Daniel Garcia by having him stick with Jericho.
I agree.
I feel like we dropped the ball.
I don't know why you did that. He was so over, and then as soon as he stayed, a lot of his support kind of backed off.
What's sad, they did this with Sammy Guevara too. With Jericho's people, the only people that have actually turned on him were Santana and Ortiz. That's the last time anybody actually turned on Jericho.
Yeah.
And that's way too long.
Yeah.
That's way too long.
For somebody like Jericho, that's way too long.
Yeah.
For like how his character is with JAS.
I'm ready. Jericho's been the leader of a big faction now ever since AEW's been in existence, I'm ready for Jericho to do something different.
And I understand why he does it, because I think how I take it is that he's just trying to get the talent that he thinks are good but may not be getting over. So he kind of brings them in, but then they just kind of last way too long. And I mean, I just said earlier that I love Jericho, so I don't want people to think I'm like hating on him, but I am kind of hating on him because I'm kind of tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and with the JAS, you know, we were pushing like Sammy, we were pushing Daniel Garcia, but I feel like it hasn't really done a whole lot for like Daddy Magic and Matt Menard. I mean, it kind of has because I know who they are, and
really?
I didn't
because
before then.
I feel like anytime that he's around, people talk about nipples getting hard.
Okay, fair point.
Fair
point.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily know that they needed Jericho to get there. I think if we would have just put them on TV as a tag team and let them be them, I think we could have got there.
I think they needed him because they were so unknown, and it took a little bit to even get people to start responding to them.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I will concede your point on that one.
Well, goddamn.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Yeah. it's a Christmas miracle in June. And then the other two matches on Rampage, we had Willow and Emi Sakura for the New Japan Strong title. So glad Willow's a champion. I know it's based on circumstance, but I don't care. I'm glad she's champ.
I know. She's so nice.
Yeah. And then the other match we had...
And she's just so cute, too. Don't you think she's just so cute? Like, I just want to, like, cuddle her.
Yeah, I could see
right?
it. I could see
yeah.
it. And then the other match we had was Zack Sabre Jr. against Action Andretti, which was also another really good match that Zack Sabre Jr. won. I didn't realize he was New Japan's TV champ. I
didn't either, because I thought he was on Ring of Honor for a little bit.
So Rampage had a AAA title being defended, a Ring of Honor title being defended, and 2 New Japan titles being defended. And honestly, with Collision coming, I would be okay if Rampage was just that.
Well, and honestly, Excalibur did not let us forget it either. That this was the only show that you will see 3 different wrestling promotion titles being defended. He said that 2 or 3 times.
I'm okay with it, but at the same time, I also know that a New Japan title is not going to change hands in AEW.
Yeah.
But I'm there for the fun matches.
But why? Because Kenny Omega got a New Japan title. It very well could.
He won it on a New Japan show.
Didn't somebody win a New Japan title last Forbidden Door or no?
No.
Well, I think they should then, just to prove you wrong.
Yeah?
Book it, Vince. Just kidding. Vince can't book anything.
Don't book anything, Vince. Book yourself into jail, because that's where you should be.
Agreed. Agreed.
Once again,
out there touching people.
Consequences.
Out there touching people when you shouldn't be, yeah.
No consequences for rich people.
No, there's not.
So that takes care of this week's wrestling recap. We'll be back next week to talk about the coming week's events. There will not be a show the Saturday after that on the 17th because we'll be at Toyhio that day. So there won't be a show that day. After that, the week after that, we'll talk about, the last 2 weeks worth. Not all of it, because that'd be forever, but we'll make mention where it's needed in story progression. We'll also talk about a little bit of our experience in Toyhio. Toyhio right now is slated, the meet and greets there are the Bunny, Rosemary, Kip Sabian.
Which I'm so pumped for Rosemary.
That'll be fun. It'll be a fun day.
I never even thought about meeting Rosemary, but whenever she was announced, I was like, okay, I'll meet Rosemary.
Yeah,
that
so
creepy lady.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
I really hope that her and Bunny are together too.
Oh, I imagine they will be.
Because they had such good wrestling history together.
Yeah. I'm sure they will be. But that's what's coming. So, like we said earlier, there's tons of wrestling out there. Go find it. Go watch it. New Japan, Ring of Honor.
If you're in the Pittsburgh area, a good promotion to go check out for independent wrestling is Rise Wrestling.
Yeah, go check out independent wrestling in general.
We went a couple weeks ago. I myself want to return, but I don't think Christopher wants to.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop out of here, watch all the wrestling, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Did you like that video? Like, subscribe, and comment to the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling Podcast. Oh, yeah!